Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spiritual Youth Circle. We'll start off today with a quick icebreaker before we get into our program. And today's question is, let me share it. Today's question is, what do you do to de-stress? And so I'll just go first. Something I do sometimes to de-stress is to just be around the right kind of people because it just allows me to relax and not think about anything else really and just be present there. I'll popcorn to Bharat.
Yeah, something I like to do de-stress is like go on a run or a jog just to like clear my mind and like focus on something else. Avantika, you can go next.
Okay. To de-stress, I like to eat like cereal or carbs. Yeah. Okay. Popcorn. I was just gonna do Niharika. Okay. Popcorn and Nishi.
Yeah, to de-stress, I like going outside because it's refreshing, and then maybe biking sometimes. Popcorn, Akshat.
To de-stress, I go on runs, and that really helps me relax. And especially afterwards, the boost of adrenaline is very helpful. I don't know who's next, so I'll popcorn Niharika.
Something I do to de-stress is sit in a quiet place and think or just be in a calm environment. I also don't know this one. Shrivata, have you?
No, I haven't. I usually read to de-stress, or now I just go and drive somewhere, and then driving is like a good way to like let out a lot of energy, I guess. I'll popcorn to Ballroom.
Something I do to just de-stress is just kind of forget it for a little bit and work on something I like. That just allows me to calm down, and then I go back and deal with it. I don't think anyone else is left.
All right, thank you guys so much for those answers. So we'll start off today's program by watching a short video and then discussing what we saw in the video. So today's program is Meditation for the Modern Age, and we'll just get right into the video.
Body, mind, and spirit through meditation. According to the National Health Interview Survey, 75% of the general population in America experiences at least some stress every 2 weeks. Millions of people around the world suffer from unhealthy levels of stress. This stress contributes to heart disease, high blood pressure, strokes, and affects the immune system in many individuals. Throughout the day, when we experience stress, our body automatically reacts in ways that prepare us to fight or run. In some cases of extreme danger, the physical response is helpful. However, a prolonged state of such agitation can cause physical damage in every part of the body. One of the main causes of stress is the disharmony of body, mind, and spirit. Meditation is a means by which the body, mind, and spirit can be harmonized. Meditation affects the body in exactly the opposite ways that stress does, restoring the body to a calm state, helping the body to repair itself, and prevent new damage due to the physical effects of stress. The mental relaxation that meditation brings has real physiological benefits. The American Heart Association reports recent studies funded by National Institutes of Health that those practicing meditation lowered their blood pressure and reported less stress and anger, and exhibited a direct correlation between meditation and decreased incidence of heart attack and stroke. For thousands of years, spiritual traditions from around the world have emphasized the need for a balanced practice of contemplation and meditation in our individual lives. Today, science and biology affirm the same. What is meditation? According to the Webster Dictionary, the meaning of the word meditate is to engage in contemplation or reflection, or to engage in mental exercise for the purpose of reaching a heightened level of spiritual awareness. The main objective of meditation is to focus one's attention. It could be a focus on sensations of breathing, or emotions or thoughts, or sound vibrations. Ultimately, it's about bringing the mind back to here and now, as opposed to letting the mind drift. Meditation helps stabilize the mind and calm the senses of the body. However, the purpose of meditation is not to simply stabilize the mind as an end in itself, but to use the stabilized, sharpened mind to achieve a higher state of consciousness, which brings serenity, clarity, and bliss for the spirit within. Different kinds of meditation. Meditation can be practiced in many different ways. While there are numerous different meditation techniques, a common thread runs through virtually all meditative techniques. Being in the now, rather than focusing on the past or the future, virtually all meditative practices involve focusing on right now. This involves experiencing each moment, letting it go, and experiencing the next. Altered state of consciousness. With time, maintaining a quiet mind and focus on the present can lead to an altered level of consciousness that isn't a sleeping state, but isn't quite the average wakeful state either. Meditation increases brain activity in an area of the brain associated with happiness, positive thoughts, and emotions. Regular practice brings prolonged positive changes in these areas. Researchers generally classify meditation techniques into two different categories: concentrative and non-concentrative. Concentrative techniques involve focusing on a particular object that's generally outside of oneself, a candle's flame, the sound of an instrument, or a particular mantra. Non-concentrative meditation, on the other hand, can include a broader focus, the sounds in one's environment as well as internal body states and one's own breathing. Mantra meditation. Let us explore one of the forms of meditation, mantra meditation, or meditation on sound vibrations. Mantra is a Sanskrit word which means that which frees the mind. A mantra is a sound vibration that frees the mind from all stress and built up negative emotional energies like anger, vengeance, envy, and prepares the mind to tune in to the positive emotional energies like forgiveness, tolerance, compassion, and humility. Sound vibrations have the potency to alter the state of our mind. If someone speaks to us rudely, our mind becomes depressed. If someone speaks to us with kindness and love, our mind becomes elated. If we hear our favorite song or music, our mind becomes relaxed. Powerful speeches from great leaders have inspired the minds of people to create revolutions in history. These are all the effects of sound vibrations altering the state of the mind. Mantra meditation is based on this principle. The mantra recommended to overcome the ill effects of this age of disagreement and duplicity is the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare is the spiritual feminine energy which is all-accepting, all-forgiving, and all-loving. Krishna is the all-attractive source of beauty, love, power, and truth. Rama is the reservoir of ecstatic spiritual pleasure, the joy of giving and serving. The combination of these three words as arranged in the mantra calls upon the facilities within us that illuminate the mind with spiritual energy. The 3P formula. Mantra meditation can be easily performed by following the 3P formula. Posture. One should sit in a comfortable, relaxed position, neither too rigid nor too flexible. Pronunciation. Each syllable of the mantra must be pronounced clearly so as to produce the right sound vibration. Mantra meditation is all about focusing the mind on hearing the sound vibration, and hence pronouncing all the syllables correctly is very important. Prayer. While focusing on the sound vibration, the practitioner is encouraged to meditate on the meaning of each word as mentioned above. This chanting is a call for grace. An attitude of gratitude prepares the mind to tune into higher realms of consciousness. Overcoming challenges during meditation. One of the major stumbling blocks for a meditation practitioner has been to contend with the restless mind. Unless the mind is purified of its lower base instincts, it will continue to provide newer challenges and obstacles. Wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita, an ancient text on Bhakti Yoga, says, "For one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy." The constant practice of the process of mantra meditation helps tame the restless mind by gradually befriending it. A regulated lifestyle of healthy diet, discipline, and positive association helps in reducing distractions and in steadying the mind. The activities that we perform during the entire day have a profound impact on the mind's response during meditation.
Okay, I really like that video and I hope you guys liked it too. So to start off our discussion, the video talked a lot about the different kinds of meditation, how they have so many benefits. So I want to hear from you guys, like, what do you think are the benefits of meditation?
I think one of the benefits of meditation is that you allow your thoughts to be as they are. And that includes if your thoughts are racing, you let them race. And that's very important, especially in this day when there are a lot of influences coming in from the external world. So, yeah.
I found meditation to be extremely grounding. Oftentimes, sometimes very hard to consolidate your feelings or understand what's going on in your life, especially during stressful times. But meditation's able to really reduce that stress by kind of giving you a sense as to how aloof you are from your life situation.
Yeah, that was a really great point. Another one that I noticed was it talked a lot about like the physical effects of meditation, like how it helps with like heart disease and all those type of like it helps with like just your general health in general. And yeah, I really like that. Do you guys have any other points or because I think another one that it mentioned was it helps harmonize the body, mind, and spirit. And I think Shivatsu was mentioning how it's pretty grounding. But I also think it kind of brings like some unity to all the three different like body, mind, and spirit. And I've noticed that benefit also.
I also remembered how it was talking about when you're stressed, there's various physical responses that you have. And so meditation doesn't just help you fight against stress, but it also brings down those symptoms that you might experience when you're stressed, like breathing heavily or sweating or just being very tense inside. So.
Meditation personally helps me get in touch with like my spiritual sense, because at other times I'm not like inclined to think spiritually, but when I'm meditating, I make it my goal to keep my mind focused on that. So that's what it helps me with.
All right, thank you guys so much for those reflections. I think just moving on, what are the different kinds of meditation that you know about, either from the video or anything else that you've heard of before?
I think one of them that I mentioned was like focusing on one thing, like either like a physical thing or like something in your mind, just like focusing on that. And it was called like concentrative techniques.
There's also like focusing on something else like your breath or like the functions of your body.
Yeah, I think both of those fall into concentrative, where instead of having a broader focus, you're focused on like one thing specifically to eliminate everything else from your mind. So you guys remember any other meditation techniques?
Yeah, I think one of the ones that I found interesting that I mentioned was like some people they meditate on like the flame of a candle, and like I've never heard of that before, and I thought it was like kind of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that either before. Yeah. How about anything that you've just heard of aside from this video, any other meditation practices?
Well, this one is kind of random, but like there's like in school and history they teach about like ancient religions and stuff. And then so one of them it was like from China or I think Japan. And then they like focus on very deep questions and for like hours they just like focus on one question and they just try to figure it out. Like one of them was like what is the sound of one hand clapping? And they just like concentrate on that. So it was interesting to me.
Wait, what is the sound of one hand clapping?
I don't know.
I think just empty void, no noise. Yeah. Yeah, that seems pretty intense for several hours focusing like that. Yeah. Any other thoughts on different kinds of meditation? If not, just thinking about the different kinds of meditation, and the one that was emphasized in the video was mantra meditation. So what do you guys think is different or unique about mantra meditation as opposed to the other kinds of meditation?
I think something about mantra meditation that's kind of unique is it kind of when you say things out loud, you have to focus on what you're saying as well. So not only is mantra meditation engaging like you as a whole, but it's also engaging your brain, which usually doesn't get engaged during meditation, personally for me.
Yeah, it's a lot easier in that way because it's I mean, instead of trying to have your mind create something, it's already there in the form of the sound vibration. You just have to hear it. So.
Yeah, kind of like what Gita Priya said, like mantra meditation, it uses all of your senses. So like the most of your focus can, like your mind can focus on what you're actually saying. Like a lot of times your hands are touching beads for like to count how many times you've been saying the mantra, and engages your tongue because you're speaking, your eyes because your eyes are closed, your ears because you're listening. So it actually minimizes the amount of distraction you have.
Yeah, it's like a full immersion into meditation, being completely fully into it. So. Does anyone else have any thoughts on mantra meditation? I think one thing I was thinking about is just the mantra itself. It positively changes your mind in a good way, and sometimes you have to try to find meaning in other kinds of meditation yourself and put your own endeavor into it and create some meaning out of it. Whereas the mantra, it's always just by doing the process itself. It affects your mind in a positive way. All right, I think we can continue now to the next question.
Yeah, so mantra meditation mainly focuses on sound vibration, and a lot of like the things that I mentioned was about the effects of sound vibration on the mind. So, what do you guys think are some of the effects of sound vibration on the mind?
I would say that sound vibration directly affects our consciousness. The sound vibration that we put ourselves in front of. Yeah. And that's reflected in the mind because our mind is like, it's like a mirror that just reflects back whatever's the state of our consciousness is. So it's important to like be rather selective about hearing the right sound vibration.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative sound vibrations as well. Like certain kinds of music can put you in a worse mood, just negative energy. I think there's some kinds of speeches you might hear as well can just be really horrible sound vibrations. And so like we really have the choice to what we want to listen to. And I think sometimes if you listen to music, your mind can become relaxed, but otherwise it has the potency to completely alter your state of mind.
Yeah, I really like that point about how like deciding what sound vibration around you really affects like the consciousness you have in your mind. And kind of another thing I noticed is like the lasting effect it just has on your mind. Because I think yesterday we were going on like a road trip and we were listening to some music on the way back. And then afterwards, I was still like humming the beat of the song after. And like even like today, I still remember like the beat of the song and all that. It's just because like I listened to it for like maybe less than like 3 minutes or something. And I really found that interesting, like the importance, like if the wrong thing is in your mind and then you're remembering that constantly, then that can be really like harmful for your consciousness.
Yeah, I've noticed that with like songs, if they have like weird lyrics, they'll like definitely I'll try to understand the meaning and then all of my thoughts will be related to that. And it might not be like the best topic to be thinking about. So it does have a negative effect in that way for me.
Yeah, that's a really nice point. Do any others have anything they want to add?
Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about mantra meditation, its benefits, one obstacle that might get in the way of actually achieving those benefits are all of the challenges that you might experience while meditating. So, what are some of the challenges that you think a practitioner might face, or maybe any challenges that you faced yourself when trying to meditate?
I can go first, but so for me, mantra meditation has been like introduced since I was like really little. So I kind of started without, I guess, really wanting to do it or like having like the actual desire to get the benefits from the meditation. So more than like seeing the value of what I was doing, I was just kind of like robotically doing it. So I feel like it's always good to set an intention and actually be like looking for something out of the meditation you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you take ownership yourself, then it becomes yours. And so then all the motivation to actually get the full benefit out of it comes as well. Does anyone else have any similar experience to that?
I think another factor that can be a challenge is if you approach your meditation with a eager attitude and you're earnest about your meditation, you're more likely to enjoy it and you're more likely to let Well, let yourself actually experience the benefits of the meditation.
Yeah, for sure. I think the attitude you approach it with is if you approach it with vengeance, that, oh, there's this chore I have to do in the day, then really the benefits will be much lower than if you're eager and willing to do it. So,
Yeah, I was reading in a textbook the other day that it said like I think extrinsic motivation or like external motivation like from other people can only get you so far, whereas if you're like self-motivated and you have that desire yourself, it can take you a lot further. And yeah, I've noticed that in myself also. Like if there's something that like my parents or anybody else wants me to do, that ends up not like taking me further than if I actually want to do it myself.
yeah, I think that's a principle that applies in so many aspects of our life, that when you try to do something yourself, then it's so much easier to do actually, if you actually want to do it instead of it becoming just a burden. How about just trying to focus on meditation? Even if you have the desire, let's say you really want to do it. Have you still ever experienced any issues with actually going forward with it?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a lot of distractions everywhere. So like when you usually do mental meditation, when you start, like I at least I used to get like distracted by everything, and then I realized that I was getting distracted, and then I like went back, but then I just like distractions are really challenging to overcome.
Yeah, distractions can be very annoying because even if you have the desire, sometimes you can be pulled away. Has anyone else experienced any distractions or specific examples?
When I do mantra meditation, usually my phone is my biggest distraction. Just going on it or scrolling through something, looking at a video, reading some article. It's just like that's usually like my biggest distraction because it's just so hard to get out of. And then yeah, and it's just really bad cycle where you kind of continue doing it and you just go on.
Have you tried anything to overcome it, just so we can have some suggestions as well?
Um, something that works, that I don't actively try that much, but it's like to chat with like someone else around, because then you feel a little guilty for doing that, and that kind of allows you for like at least like 30 minutes or something. You can like focus a little more. But yeah, things like that, or just like changing your environment. We're in a place where you just don't feel as comfortable just going on your phone immediately.
I think that, yeah, there's definitely strength in numbers where you can get inspired by other people, or at least just have them there so you can just slack off. Right?
Another thing about like going on your phone or like trying to fix chanting, I feel like a lot of times, like with meditation, you'll try to go from like being like really distracted to being perfect, and oftentimes it's not like a realistic expectation. So what I like to do is like or like what I like to do that kind of got me where I am right now is, instead of like having a huge goal of doing like all of your meditation undistracted, if you decide to do like even 10 repetitions of the mantra you're reciting, or like we call it one round. If you choose to do like one round, good, and then keep the other ones like however like you usually do them, just like taking baby steps makes it more comfortable for you and also a lot more realistic.
Yeah, working incrementally can also just make your mind have less excuses. That it's like if you're saying, okay, I'm for the next 2 hours, everything's going to be perfect, and your mind will say, oh, that's too much. But if you just say, okay, this next one mantra that you're doing, make it perfect. It's really hard for your mind to say, that's too hard, because you can do that. So
I think the biggest thing for me is that, at least with my phone, I think this also works with studying, is that I chuck my phone on my bed in the back of my room. So even though I could see my phone and it's not too far away, I'm just too lazy to get up and get it. So like I'd rather sit down and stay sitting down. Another thing is that I found that incremental, like focusing on one mantra at a time, really helps, because I find that, like, at least with distracted chanting, it's very clear, for anyone who's had like focused chanting versus distracted, that there's a very big difference in the result of it. And also doing it in the morning has really helped me. But I think Advait also brings up a very interesting thing in the chat regarding thinking about what I have to do. And something that's helped me for that is that I have like a certain time of my day that I have as sacred, like mantra meditation time, and only that. And um, yeah, and then when I have that, I think that I also trust myself that when the time comes to study or when the time comes to do whatever productive thing I need to do, I will only do that as well. But actually, I'm not like, I act as if I'm very like perfect on this, but not really. But that's the ideal, yeah. But it really helps.
Wow, yeah, I liked how were also working with your own, like you know how your own proclivities are. So if you put your phone far away, you know that's enough for you. So I think that's really important to implement, to think about how much you're actually going to be willing to go out of your way to get distracted. So
A challenge I have is like I usually like have this mindset that there's like specific conducive times for like doing my meditation, or like if I'm not in the mood, like I won't do it. And I'll like wait for like, okay, like in the evening or like in the morning, I'm usually in the mood. And if I miss the time, then I just get like really lazy. And then my meditation practice is not good at all. So yeah.
Yeah, another challenge that I face too is basically like meditation isn't a process where everything will work out overnight. It's kind of like it's not a short process. So after one meditation session, I'm like, okay, now everything should work. It's going to work out now, but it doesn't. So I just kind of get demotivated and then I'm like, why do it? So yeah.
Yeah, I think adding on to Geetha Priya, that was definitely a struggle for me, like, because I thought it would just like happen really fast, and then like I was too impatient to wait for like it to get better and like get good results at the end, because it doesn't happen overnight, like you said. So yeah, that was.
yeah, I'm loving these points. And Advait just put in the chat, or a little while ago, he said, for me, my biggest distraction is usually thinking about what I have to do after, like my homework, chores, etc. And I definitely relate to that so much because that's a big distraction I have, is thinking about everything else I have to do. And sometimes understanding that right now meditation is your most important chore at the moment helps, because then everything else is secondary. Okay, any other reflections on this question?
I have one last thing to add.
Go ahead.
One thing that I've noticed is like when I'm meditating, my senses, like my ears, like everything, they become so much more like attentive that like if I hear like pot being cleaned downstairs, I'll focus on that instead, and I'm just like so much more like engaged into like just trying to find something else to do, and that's something that I've really like struggled with.
Yeah, I think I was kind of expecting this question to have the most response. What are the challenges? Which is great, because then we get to hear everyone and that we're not alone in this. She was to just put, sometimes when chanting out of nowhere for no apparent reason, I get hungry or thirsty. Yeah, your mind can come up with so many different ways to stop chanting. Okay, I think we can move on to our next question.
Yeah. So one way to like help with these, what's it called? Like these challenges is to build a lifestyle that helps like avoid these, or like try to build a lifestyle that gives you like the opportunity to get good meditation in. So like what are some ways that you guys like build your lifestyle around meditation? How does it like help him? Like how does it help you with like overcoming these challenges?
Something that Anisha, you can go ahead.
I'll go after you.
Oh, okay. Something that definitely helps me personally is having good association when it comes to meditation. If you have like friends and like people around you who don't really want the same things as you, like when you meditate, you have a goal, right? And that goal, it's different for everybody, but in the end, the goal is to meditate, right? So if I like have friends who don't have that same goal, they're kind of like, why are you doing this? Like, sorry, why are you doing this? It's like meditation, like you don't like, why can't you can just do this or do that? Versus if I have like friends who do have the same goals as me, they're kind of like, oh yeah, like we can do it together. Or yeah, I understand that goal. My goal is also to do that. So yeah, association is super important for me.
Yeah, I was also gonna say the same thing, like surrounding yourself with like a mantra, meditation, positive like environments, like people, and like just literally even on social media, if you like surround yourself with the wrong or like choose to follow or something to the wrong accounts and stuff. Anyways, I was saying positive association. Yeah.
Yeah, I think association really helps with just like anything that you want to do, like finding the right people, like for meditation specifically. But then also I've noticed that like having some discipline towards it is also really helpful. Like setting a time or setting like a time in the day and how many you want to do that can all like really help you just find like your little like niche in meditation and help you like progress in it.
Yeah, I've noticed that in myself too. Like when I have a set time for doing my practice, then I'm more likely to do it and do it well. And when I don't, it's not as well at all.
Something else I like to do is like I think someone mentioned about like you'll start to think about everything else you have to do or like you'll remember something. So a lot of times if I like remember something I have to do only while I'm meditating and I'm like trying to remember it but also trying to focus, sometimes I'll just like write it down. So like I don't have to think about it anymore since that thought like that thing I had to do is on paper, so now I can just like continue with my focus.
And another thing that I wanted to say was that it's good to let other people know that you're going to be meditating or you're going to be finding time for yourself, because people tend to want to interfere with that time in some way or another. So that's very helpful.
Okay, those are all really nice points. If no one has anything else to share about this question, we can actually go into like a practical stage and we can try some mantra meditation ourselves. So I'll quickly screen share and then we can just go right into it.
This mantra is called the Maha Mantra, and it goes like this. I'll say the mantra 5 times. You can follow along and just listen to the sound vibration. Relax your eardrums again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Does anyone have any reflections just from the chanting we just did? Is anything you might have felt or anything you observed? I definitely found it very calming. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Niharika.
Oh, okay. If you were speaking, you can finish though. I think I cut you off.
No, I was just filling. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I was remembering what Avanti said about like the six senses. So I was really trying to hear myself. And the speaker was like, relax your eardrum. So that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, also I found it to be very like just hearing him chant and then also chanting along with him was very calming and very reflective as well. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this?
I kind of have like a hectic day. Like after this, I just have a lot of stuff to do. So I was kind of stressing about that. But after chanting, I was kind of, I was kind of put at ease.
Well, I'm glad that this chanting helps. Yeah. Okay, I think just we can move on to a final discussion just based on the program. If everyone, if you would like to just share one thing that you're taking away from the program, anything that you learned, or if you already knew about it before, then anything that you're just going to take away to remember from the program.
I like the point about writing things down when you're like thinking about what you have to do later. It's something I haven't like I've been told to try, but I haven't like really tried it yet, but I should.
Okay, I think we can actually just do popcorn for this. You can popcorn it to someone.
I'll popcorn to Akshat.
I think one other thing that I'm going to take away is that when you are meditating, you should engage all of your six senses. And that will help you enjoy the process more. I'll popcorn it to Bharat.
Yeah, one point that I'll take away is that like positive association, just like taking that away and like trying to implement that in my own life by surrounding myself with like other people who want the same goal as me when I'm chanting, so that I'm more likely to stay focused. I'll popcorn it to Anshu.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about was Advait's reflection about how like one of the biggest distraction is thinking about everything else that you have to do. And I liked all of your guys' reflections on how you really try to focus. And I'll try to implement a lot of those so that I can forget about everything else that doesn't need to be clearing or doesn't need to be wandering around in my mind. I'll popcorn to Anushri.
Yeah, I think I'll take away like starting small but still having like good quality. Yeah. Who didn't? Geeta Priya?
Yeah, I think Shivatsa said in the chat that if you waking up early is something that would really help. And yeah, I really agree with that. Like waking up early, and if you do meditation in the morning, then it's kind of like before your whole day starts. So yeah, definitely. I don't know who hasn't. Niharika, have you gone yet? Yeah.
Something I'm going to take away is like what Avantika said about if you have something in your mind, just write it down. And I think that would help a lot. And also waking up early and setting a time for my practice. And I forgot to say this, but I was like reading like my old diaries, and I noticed that I'd written down like a tip of rating like my round after I'm done. And I heard this from a mentor, and I think that would also help. Popcorn, Balaram.
I think maybe popcorn to someone else.
Yes, popcorn, Avantika.
Okay, so what I would take away is in the middle of our like practical portion of the program, one of my family members walked in the room, so I wasn't able to fully focus. But when like they left the room, I was just like looking at everyone chanting, and I was very inspired by Niharika, who looked really focused. So just looking at like the amazing examples around us, I feel inspired by that. Yeah. So I'll popcorn it to Balaram if he's back. Which he's not. Did anyone else? Did anyone else not go?
No, I don't think so. But
Okay.
I have one more question or a couple more questions. Now, this one's not going to be a popcorn question, but if anyone has any feedback about what can be improved about this session, does anyone have any feedback? And it can be anything, even if you think it's a really small thing, just so that we can improve and have better discussions, anything. Yeah.
I think for like some of the questions, like our earlier questions are really like objective from the video, so there's not as much like discussion or like learning like in between us. So maybe more questions that like are more personal. Like the last two ones we really had us going for a bit, but the first ones kind of left us a little, like it was a little more difficult to go on for a while.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. Does anyone else have any feedback? Okay, then. If not, you can always tell us later. But last question is kind of a request, but do you guys think it'll be possible, if you can, to bring a friend to the program next time? If you have any friend that you think would be interested in something like this or would find it beneficial, and you can just react maybe if you think that it'll be possible for you to bring a friend to the program. Okay, we have thumbs up already. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then some, yeah, definitely, you can definitely try. Don't need to commit to anything right now, but yeah. All right, that's great. Hopefully we can have as much discussion as we can with more people. All right, so that concludes our program for today. If you're watching on Facebook, our website is www.spiritualyouthcircle.com. I'll just put in the chat here as well. And our email is hi@spiritualyouthcircle.com. And if you have any questions, you can visit our website or email us. And aside from that, I'll just show the next program's title that we have. Here we go. So here it is, The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this movie, but I think that the topic very much relates to it. And yeah, hopefully if you can bring anyone that you think would be interested in this, we can have an awesome discussion for this. All right, then, that concludes today, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.